Afternoon. What if I told you to go out and live in our society, conduct yourself as a model citizen, and follow the laws of our government? But there's one stipulation. You will have no say in any aspect of the laws or officials governing you, but others around you do. Would you feel excluded? Convicted felons released from prison face this situation every day. We want to see these individuals do well in free society, so every chance to reduce criminal behavior and recidivism should be taken. I've done research on the subject and discovered in Texas alone, we have over 300 statutes relating to restrictions for convicted felons. The denial of voting rights is one restriction which serves no real purpose in the rehabilitation of criminals and enhancing their return to ordinary life outside prison walls. Therefore, these restrictions need to be removed. Let's examine some of the issues regarding felon voting rights. First, some background information. Voting is a constitutional right for U.S. citizens, granted to us by the Constitution under Amendments 14, 15, and 19. The debate today regarding felon denial of voting rights or felon disenfranchisement stems from state statutes. The National Conference of State Legislatures website, updated in September of 2016, informs us that only 2 states, Maine and Vermont, allow felon voting even while imprisoned. And regardless of the release conditions, only 14 states automatically restore voting rights upon release from incarceration. Most other states, including Texas, only reinstate voting rights upon completion of the sentence, which includes any parole. The Texas Election Code, Section 11.002, located at the Texas Constitution and Statutes website, outlines our state requirements. This is a nationwide issue, but we're going to look mainly at Texas and how this affects us. Dr. Ann Carson's report, Prisoners in 2014, published on the Bureau of Justice Statistics website, tells us in 2014, 400,924 prisoners were released nationwide on conditional terms. Texas accounted for over 15% of those prisoners, with 61,933 released. The Office of Justice Programs National Institute of Justice website gives statistics for recidivism, or the return to crime, and offers a link to a Bureau of Justice Statistics special report published in April of 2014 by DeRose, Cooper, and Snyder. The special report shows us that between 2005 and 2010, approximately 55% of released inmates were re-imprisoned within 5 years. But even with over half potentially returning to prison, this still leaves over 34,000 individuals in Texas with no say in the electoral process at the 5-year mark. This past election shows how important our voices are. I have a friend with a family member on parole since 2010, and this person has had a long period of parole and so far has done a tremendous job in the return to free society, holding a steady job following parole stipulations. Texas law states felons are not eligible to vote until parole is finished years from now. There is remorse for past actions and a wish to resume life with as little stigma as possible. Voting allows a person to feel a part of the society that they live in. You might ask, what is the nation's take on felon voting rights? There are organizations dedicated to helping felons, such as the Sentencing Project and Project Vote. The Sentencing Project offers a publication on their website, Felony Disenfranchisement, a primer published by Gene Chung in May 2016, which reports public opinion surveys show 8 in 10 U.S. citizens support voting rights for citizens who have completed their sentence, and nearly 2/3 support voting rights for those on parole. Public awareness has resulted in over 800,000 citizens retaining the right to vote in the past 20 years. And the Project Vote website offers a policy paper, Voting Rights for Former Felons by Estelle Rogers, Esquire, published in March of 2014. In this paper, she states restoration of the right to vote should be a fundamental part of an ex-offender's reintegration into society. Giving felons this civic duty can provide a sense of investment and involvement in the community and potentially reduce the risk of subsequent offenses. I hope by now you're asking yourself, what can I do? Denying voting rights for felons in today's world serves no real purpose to their rehabilitation and reentry into free society. Voting is a constitutional right, but the states have control over felon voting rights. Large numbers of felons are released every year, returning to society and trying to start anew. Giving these individuals a say in their community by returning their right to vote can help reduce recidivism and give them a sense of pride in their new life. I hope after hearing these facts you consider contributing to either Project Vote or the Sentencing Project in support of their efforts to end felon disenfranchisement. Thank you very much for listening.